All right. Welcome tonight, everybody. We're in the house. I am the Brickstop, and I'm going to be doing a live Q&A tonight with Brick Monarch. This is our fifth live stream, actually, I think, together. I could double check with Andrew, but I think that is the case. And he's about to join right now. We're just going to go live in together. Should pop on here any minute. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining, guys. Hello.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So I was just saying, tonight we're doing a live Q&A. So that would be what? We encourage you guys to join in and ask us anything you are interested in finding out our Lego wisdom on. And we also did a story where we picked the top 5 questions from that. We're going to be looking over those and answering those with our opinions and thoughts as well.
Yeah, there were actually some pretty cool questions too, I might add.
Yeah, no, I think it was really cool. So feel free, guys, to jump into the comments, drop any kind of questions, and we will do our very best to answer all of them. So it looks like we got some people joining in. I'm just sending the waves. We got some love our way. We appreciate it, guys. Good evening, Knights of Legoberg, for 720. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here we go. We already got a question. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Where is Logan says, think there will be more pirate sets in the future. What do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, sure.
It'd be cool. It would be cool, but then I'd have to go on like this vendetta of collecting all the pirate stuff.
Yeah, no, I've thought for the last, like, what is it, six years or something like that, since we haven't had Pirates or Castle, what it would be like to my bank account if those showed up again.
It would be a terrible thing.
Because regardless,
I looked at Crystal, Lady Bricks, and I said I can't spend any more Lego money. I can't spend any more money on Lego right now. Like I've got to like stop today for like a couple weeks. I can't buy anything else. After my Bricklink hauls, they're for my private projects that are still secret, and then not thinking that I was going to stop at the Lego store when I was in Tennessee. And then I like had my nephews with me and my daughter, and I was like, let's go to the Lego store.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's a trap.
It is. It was a trap. It was a trap.
Oh man, classic style castles popped on. Got my times wrong. Thought this was starting at 11 p.m. my time, but it's midnight now. We'll see how long I stay awake. Man, I'm happy you're here for the time. We actually have a question from you. Maybe we could do that one first, because that was one of the questions we selected. So from Classic Style Castles, he was asking, how do you balance real life commitments with the time and money spent on the Lego hobby? And that's a very, very good question. And it's a question that all of us probably on here have or deal with. So I was going to ask you first, Andrew, if you had some thoughts on that, and then I was going to chime in with whatever I have.
Well, I might add that it's very difficult. With my line of work, I'm a business owner, obviously. I run Brick Monarch Shop, but then I also own another business that, I do, car wraps and business cards. I do graphic design. And sometimes I get caught up in work where I don't have a minute to breathe for like 6 or 7 days. I get up, I go to work before daylight, and I'm getting home at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Enough time to shower, watch a little TV, and go to bed and do it again the next day.
Sure.
So literally, I was just telling you earlier, Jason, that, I bought $700 worth of Legos at the Lego store, and I have literally not been able to touch any of them other than I did build the International Space Station.
Right, which I think I saw. Did you put a picture of that up?
Yeah, it was in the photo. That was the only one that I had time to build, but I have all these other great sets that I want to build, and I want to have my private, everybody leave me alone, phone off kind of thing. Like, I just want to do this right now moment, and I haven't been able to. So yeah, it's very difficult. you know, when it comes to work-life balance, especially when you have children.
Sure.
And then you have your full-time job, you have your, you know, your significant other, and then you have like these massive hobbies that you like to dig and like throw hours away at, right? Because everybody knows what Lego does to your life.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the financial aspect of it, sometimes I don't have any restraint. I'll be honest.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Just
then
go for it.
I'll look at the bank account and I'll be like, dude, what have I done? You know, and Crystal will be like, hey, we need this and we need to go here, and I'm like, we can't do that right now. She's like, well, how's come Bricklink orders keep showing up? I thought we couldn't do that.
Sure.
You know, so it gets a, you know, I get a little out of hand. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You know, I look at you sometimes when we're talking about a project. I'm like, dude, do you want to race? Because I will sell my left leg and beat you.
Yeah, no, that's the competitive nature that I know you have, and I have as well, and that's why we were a cast, or at least starting to get on the casting process for that Lego show, the Lego Masters, which we were both like, yeah, let's go. So that's part of that coming out there.
Yeah,
yeah,
Lego Creator. Yeah, the VIP points. I just ran through all the VIP points that I had.
Yeah,
I got $100 off the Discovery and $20 off the Sat V, which I just bought to complete the 4 NASA sets that I wanted. So yeah, I dwindled. I was saving my VIP points to get the Disney train, like half price.
Nice.
But now that I've got all the NASA stuff, I'll just probably, you know, once the next big job comes in, I'll just be like, hey, get this. Because I don't order from Lego, right? Yeah. I don't. Crystal is the one that always orders everything from Lego. Like all the VIP points are in her account for some reason.
Well, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, so she'll be like, well, what card do you want me to put on? And I'll just toss a credit card at her. Like, yeah, get it.
Nice. But yeah, no, I think those are all good points. So yeah, the spending can be a tricky one, definitely. And then, you know, I'm self-employed to a certain extent. I work with some other people, but we're all kind of in it together. And so we do have a little bit more flexibility with our time, you know, getting home a little earlier than maybe a 9 to 5. So I can, you know, I can find some time to do that in my personal life, but it's not always been like that, and it's not always going to be like that. So I think, like, for me, I do realize the value of family and like taking time to spend with them and doing those kinds of things. And I know you've said that too. And so making sure you carve out at least some time where they're taken care of, they feel loved and, you know, part of your life, that actually does end up on the long run making you have a freer time to explore your hobbies with Lego and stuff like that, because they're content and you have your, you know, you have that all handled. And so that's one thing that I would encourage is like definitely taking time to spend with your family, because, you know, that's a very important thing to me too. And I think that's part of it. So funny, but it is, again, it's a balance. I mean, these aren't real answers more than they're just sort of like, hey, you should balance it, which is true. You should. Right? Yeah. You need to balance it.
And then you have to take into consideration too the type of person that you are.
That's true.
Right? Like, yeah. I'm not trying to compare myself to Da Vinci, okay?
Sure.
At all. In no way, shape, or form, okay? But history will tell you that Da Vinci had a very odd schedule. Like, he would sleep in the middle of the day and then work for 6 hours straight. And, like, there was no, like, family life. It was just, like, all creative all the time, every day, every waking moment.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like in that aspect, I'm like that, you know, with doing graphic art and designing for people and then being creative with Lego. And there are times where I get to the point where I've maxed myself out for everybody else. And like, I have to do creative stuff. And if I'm not doing creative stuff, I get angry and I get like irritable about everything that happens in life.
I understand that. Yeah. And
I understand, like, until that's like actually fulfilled, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that totally makes sense though, because yeah, I get that. Cause I've been there too, you know, cause if I got unfinished projects floating around and stuff, you know, and for both of us, we've also created this interesting thing where we have an online shop, right? And we actually do end up, you know, making a little bit of income from our hobbies now, which I think is a really cool opportunity. And so it could put a little bit more precedent on those things because it does bring in some income. So that's something that we've done. A lot of people don't want to do that because it's It's like this is just their hobby and they don't want to think about business stuff while they're doing it and stuff. And I understand that too. And I think we can do both. But I'm with you there, man. Like I totally understand the personal aspect of it. And that's really, I mean, I think biggest thing is balance. And then on top of that is self-awareness. Like you're self-aware, you know, you see that in yourself, you know that, and that's great. And so that you can be able to fit that time in that you need. And then you can communicate that, right? And communicate that with your family or whatever it is. And say,
I try to, yeah.
Yeah, you try to, right. Well, that's all of us, right? We try. So that's really cool though, man. Like, yeah. And then if they're aware of that or whatever, whoever it is, then, you know, you can work through that. And that works out pretty well. And yeah, fulfilling that, because that's like, in a way, the Lego hobby for a lot of people is like a self-care thing. It's a thing they sit down and they relax and they unwind and they do that. And that's really important for a lot of people. And so that being self-aware like that, I think is really cool. And that's a very good practical way to work on balancing the hobby and the real life situation stuff.
Yes, babe, I did compare myself to Da Vinci. I didn't say that I was Da Vinci. Talking about on a creativity level here.
It was coming back to bite you. No, I totally get that. Yeah, that's my dad. Honestly, my dad is like Da Vinci. He's crazy that way. But all right, let's see. What do we got here? It looks like we got another question from Michael Dust and Ski. I think I'm terrible at reading these. Is there any good tutorials to help build motion projects? I'm thinking like the couple posts I've seen with the little dolphins jumping, okay, or the guy with the pinball machine, right? There's another one with a guy pushing a boulder, and Elemental Lego. He has a PDF of a motion-powered little like Star Wars build with the wheels going over terrain that runs underneath of it. And they might have some other ones too. I don't know. But tutorials, yeah, I'm not sure. Those are hard because they're mechanical. And I can understand those being even difficult to put a PDF together to show how they work. But I know Elemental Lego, check him out. He might have some good options.
Yeah, I think that the best way on that would literally be a tutorial where you can actually point out, hey, this is here because it has this function, you know, and this is what's going on. This is how it's making it work.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's hundreds of Lego YouTubers as well, and I'm sure there's a couple in that group that have tutorials for stuff like that. I just haven't quite, you know, gone into that as much, so I'm not 100% sure. Unfortunately, I don't have account names or anything I could give you. But that is something that I would like to pursue as well, personally, get better at that stuff. We got Classic Style Castle. My budget is minimal in comparison to it seems a lot of AFOLs dropping big bucks each month. It's dangerous to fall into the fear of missing out or of trying to keep up with other collectors. Definitely don't worry about anyone else when you're doing your Lego stuff. Like that, your collection is yours. So get what you want, not compare it to anyone else's, for sure.
My suggestion would be to that is, you know, don't try to keep up with the Joneses, for one, because some people have different career paths. You know, I mean, some AFOLs could probably doctors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
no, I've definitely seen.
You know, and I would say break it down into smaller sections. You know, like, you know, obviously I don't go too crazy, but like I'll decide like, hey, I want to recollect this faction or this theme. And then I'll just start piecing it together from Bricklink, you know. And it may take me 3 months to get it, but there's no way I'm gonna go and buy vintage sets from someone else at 3 times the cost of what I can get the parts for on Bricklink. It's just not happening.
Sure. Yeah, no, I feel it though. Especially like I used to just buy the set I liked, and then I got kind of caught into buying like themes, and I'm like, well, I like a lot of this, so I'm going to get the whole theme. I want every set. It's a collector mentality, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I totally empathize with because I understand that. And I've been there myself and I still am. So I get that. But yeah, it's tricky. I know because I've missed out on stuff too. And I'm like, oh man. But you know, at the same time, I don't have the money to drop $500, $800 on a Millennium Falcon, right? It's just, you know, so it is a budgeting thing. It's like, okay, am I going to drop $250 on the big the big Harry Potter one, or am I going to spend that money and get every single other set in the series for the same cost, right? It's like maybe you'll probably get more Lego and more minifigs if that's your thing, but
Yeah.
you will miss out on the big one. That's kind of how I've balanced some of it. And then if time or gifts or things come around that you can pick that up later, obviously that's always fun. But yeah, it's tricky stuff, man. It's expensive. It's kind of a rich boy's hobby. And we've kind of worked around it. A lot of us, not as rich people, have kind of found ways to dig in and find ways to get the.
And I've come across people
bricks,
that
but
I've said that I'm into Legos, and they're like, "Oh, you must have been a rich kid when you were growing up."
yeah,
I was like, "Not really. I was from the north. Like northern kids, northern kids played with Legos. It is what it is." You know
yeah.
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? Because half the year it was too damn cold to be outside.
yeah, yeah. I mean, same. I mean, we had Lego as kids too, but it was a privilege. Like it was my grandma. She'd buy us a $25 Lego set, and that was the thing. Like that was the big thing.
Yeah.
And my brother and each would get one, and that was like one. And then maybe we'd buy one with our spending money during the year. So just because we had it, we weren't from a rich family or anything like that. But
Yeah, I remember one specific year when I was growing up. My grandmother actually is the one that got me the Enchanted Island for the Islanders set when it came out, right?
that's cool.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
the one that got me that set. And if I'm not mistaken, that was like a $66, $67, $68 set when it came out, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was around at least 50 for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice set for sure. That's the big one.
So I could really count on her when I was a kid to like really do the Lego fat. And then my dad always had it. My dad never had a problem getting me Legos for Christmas
Sure.
or my
Yeah.
birthday or whatever.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Lego kids, I feel like they just like latched on and they didn't ask for anything else. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, we got a ton of Lego and a bunch of other things. It was like we got a couple Lego sets and that was it.
That's all you needed.
That was all you needed. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually got my fiance now buying me Legos for Christmas and birthday.
Yeah,
So, like,
my wife does the same thing.
Just get me Lego sets. Every
We're
now and
good.
again I'll get like, a fur like house coat or, like a mug or something like that, or some random things. I get some random things, but majority of it is Lego.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that's what we've done is prioritize that as the things we like. We're not, a lot of people spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff. But I've ended up over the last 10 years, mostly anything I'm buying for myself has for the most part been some Lego stuff because that's what I do. So, and that's kind of, you just prioritize it. If you have the money, obviously just buy what you want, but not everyone can do that. So
Yeah.
and I understand it is a pricey hobby. It can be at least. I'm already a fishing YouTuber, but do you have any tips when entering YouTube and social media with a Lego channel? I know it's a very difficult or a different world.
It is. It's very difficult too.
Yeah.
There's so much knowledge on the back end just
Mhm.
to be able to run everything right and do quality stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, again, it falls back to do what you love because that will be evident in your work and I think that's a big thing. And you'll care the most about that content. And therefore put the most effort into it. If you're grinding away on a piece of content that you do because you think it's going to get a lot of likes or it's going to grow your following, you're not going to produce that great of a piece because it's just going to be something you did like homework. But if I talk to you all the time,
you don't want to let it become a job because when it becomes a job, the passion's gone.
yeah, exactly. You lose that.
It's still an art. Being creative
Absolutely.
with Lego is still an art. It's an art, and if you diminish that by trying to get the number,
Yeah.
it loses its quality.
Yep. So yeah, growing a following, it's important. I think it's definitely something that we all kind of strive to do. But I wouldn't make it number one. I would make it number two probably, and work on creating stuff you really enjoy, and that becomes evident, and that's where you're going to get people to latch on to you as an individual and your content specifically because they see you in it, as opposed to just grinding out, the latest whatever people you think want to see. I don't know. That's kind of what I've thought about as far as my content. I just do what I want for the most part. I'm like, this is what I think is cool. So
Let's see. Hang on one second. The JD Brick Doctor.
yeah,
This entire theme's switching priorities between Lego, Transformers, and later Gundam.
yep. That's what we're talking about. See, if you could
That's-
lock it in early.
That's the kind of thing, man. Like even when Gundam came out, I remember being in the toy aisle when Gundam came out, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to collect them. I liked them.
Yeah, they're cool.
You know?
They're cool.
I did a lot of creative Lego building and drawing, like hand drawing, when I was like 17, 18 years old, still trying to like narrow down what I was going to do as a career path and whatnot.
Sure.
And, you know, Gundam was there. Transformers were in a lull at that point, but don't get me wrong, I had all the Gen 1 toys when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I did. I had all of them. I actually just recently saw somebody on Instagram had posted some instructions for Gen 1 Optimus Prime. It was a really good build. And that's
Nice.
what you should have done, JD Brick Doctor, is you should have said, this Gundam is cool. What parts do I need from Lego to build it?
There you go. Yep. That's exactly. You translate the world. You see the world through Lego eyes. My grandparents got.
You really do.
Well, yeah, that's what we were just talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
talking about seeing a sci-fi show we like and wanting to build a ship based on it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but we're not going to talk about that right now.
well, that's why I said it very obscurely. You know what I mean, though, right? It's that we see something that we I identify with, and we're like, dude, how cool would it be in Lego?
I know.
But
funny enough, I drive down the road and look at things and be like, I wonder if I can build that out of Lego and make this work right.
Mm-hmm. My younger brother would build a lot of the trucks, the big, like with the supports that would come out and the big crane pieces and the cement tubes and things. He'd see a big truck out there, and then when we got home after errands or whatever, he'd put one together and build it. It was fun he was good at doing all the construction stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Dude, we got quite a few comments on here now. I'm trying to scroll through a few of them to make sure I'm not missing actual questions here. Well, a lot of them are, we got people chiming in with different like deals and things. Thrift stores, AK, Brickster, Jordan. That's Jordan. Hey, Jordan. I saw you joined in a little earlier. It's good to see you. I know you're usually missing these because of work, which we just talked about, work and life balance there, but or work and Lego balance. But yeah, thrift stores. I have a store down the road, which I've got super lucky, which sells a bunch of bulk Lego and then like little like packs. Like I showed you on, I think you jumped onto my video with the little.
Yeah, I did. I saw them
Yeah.
those little packs for $2 a piece.
Yeah,
I would drop the bill in there quick.
Better than Bricklink.
I'll just dump all of those in this bucket and tell me how much.
Yeah, which I kind of did. I bought most of the stuff that I'm interested in over there. So I've been very fortunate to have a store where they're selling secondhand Lego there for a pretty good price. So finding something like that is a great way if you're into just building, to keep the costs down. But if you're going after new sets, it's going to get pricey. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
All right, JD Brick Doctor. My interests were all over the place too. Yeah, I mean, we kind of were, but like for us, at least for me, and it sounds like with you, Andrew, as kids, we kind of locked in Lego as our main one pretty early.
Yeah, Lego was definitely the main one. I mean, I had a couple of odd things.
Yeah.
My younger brother did the G.I. Joes.
Okay, yeah.
Like the original G.I. Joes when he was really young. Like he wanted the G.I. Joes. And then like around like 7, 8 years old, I was like, no, you want Lego.
Oh, I remember you said this. Yeah, you convinced him and told your parents that he wanted the certain.
So I was getting double Lego at Christmas because of my brother.
Oh, man. Lego Addict LOS. Besides the 3-in-1 Castle, any other summer release you guys are for sure getting? R2, Daily Bugle. I don't do the Marvel superhero stuff, but I know the Bugle is a big anticipated set for the Marvel fans.
Yeah, nope.
No. I am
And
excited.
I'm completely against the Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan at all.
Yeah, yeah. I don't buy much of Star Wars anymore. I used to. I have complete waves from some of the movies, but I don't do it much anymore because they fractured themselves really badly. Like recently, they just splattered all over the place, and they don't have any cohesion or consistency with their sets anymore. So I can't. It's just hard for me to be interested in one random set from one random movie that just I can't add to any other like current collection that's going
Yeah.
on, right? So I'm bummed they did that, but I might pick up a Star Wars one now and then, but it's not the same as it was. I am excited about the Harry Potter sets though. They are releasing some really cool ones this summer, like fantastic ones.
Yeah, I've heard. That plus the 3-in-1, summer's gonna be damaging to the wallet.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do because I'm gonna have to start stockpiling something.
I know, and it's crazy too, because when they revamped the Harry Potter theme, the first couple of series that they released were just awful compared to the latest version of everything.
On the what?
On the Harry Potter stuff, like the
Oh, you don't like the original ones?
yeah, like the original ones that came
Okay.
out 10 years ago, right? Are
Yeah.
complete shit compared
The ones
to
that
what
I like
now.
a lot, the ones that you like dump on and I think are cool. Yeah, those ones.
Yeah, those. Like the new version of everything is so great, right?
Sure.
And I've actually kept up with them. I'm missing the Burrow, the new Burrow,
Yeah.
and Diagon Alley are the only two that I'm missing out of all of them. I
Wow.
have every other set.
That's cool. Yeah. They clearly were appealing. I mean, I think we talked about this before. It is the time to be a Lego Harry Potter fan right now.
Right
Like,
now, yeah.
it is your day.
100%.
And I know people complain about it. I like it enough to be excited about it.
Yeah, well, I've always kind of tampered with the idea of building my own version of Hogwarts. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have built it. I think Bricks Unbound, I think, is building one right now, and he has been for like maybe the last 6 months.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty good, in comparison. And then there was that really big one that chick did. I forget her name.
Oh, oh no.
She won
Now I
like an
forgot.
award for it and all kinds of stuff. And to be honest with you, the perspective and the scale and the size of everything was off on that.
Okay.
It was not even close to being a premium product.
She wasn't selling it though, was she?
No.
She was just building it as like her own like mock. I actually saw that
Yeah.
live. I saw that live. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was massive.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Alice Finch. That
yeah.
was
I've
Finch.
met her. She's actually a great lady. I've met her.
I'm not saying that she isn't, but the flat Rivendell and the disproportionate the Hogwarts castle, I'm not sold.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. On it was. I think that Jordan has a good point. It was her first big build. So I gave her like, I mean, I built some stuff that was big scale and didn't look that good either. I thought it was cool though, and I appreciate that she did the interior, and that's where I'm going to go after some people because I don't like the builds that no one cares about the interior on. And there's a lot of people out there that make these phenomenal creations, and they're all detailed on the outside, and you spin it around, and it's just a solid chunk of connectors. I'm like, that looks great, but I don't care. I care about what's going on inside. Like, I love a functional building, and she decorated and detailed and lit every single room in that Hogwarts, and I'll give her props for that, regardless of what the thing looked like as a whole. But yeah, I do like interior detail. You got to get that. That'll win me over.
100%.
But yeah, no, Harry Potter sets are what I'm excited for, and the 3-in-1 castle. Those are the big ones for me. Going back to that question, just to kind of wrap it up. Danish Space Program joined. Thank you so much. Welcome. Let's see. I'm back in the comments a little bit. I want to try to make sure. For me, seeing a new castle line and ideas Jaws set is something I long for. Yeah, a Jaws set. I mean, technically, the movie's PG, so Lego could totally do it. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
She was ahead of her time for the big builds. I mean, in a way, that is true. Going back to her builds, I mean, people hadn't built that many big things like that, and now, of course, we're refining and building on those types of things. But first big Harry Potter set like that was built. I appreciate that. Let's see, we got JMS
Yeah, well, I mean,
Bricks.
if you take into consideration, so I don't know who the guy is that did it, but there's a guy that there's like the UCS Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think I've
It's
seen
like
that
two
one.
or
Yeah,
three books or something like that, $100 a book for the instructions. I mean, what an impressive build that was. I mean, that
yeah,
was to scale. It was on point. You know, I mean,
yeah.
it was extremely impressive. You know, and I mean, going back to Allison Finch's Rivendell, I mean, I don't know if no one else on the planet saw Rivendell in the movie, but it wasn't flat like that.
I I saw
It
that
was
one
on the
live
side
too.
of a mountain in a ravine
See,
with
and maybe
waterfalls that were hundreds of feet tall.
are you sure this is the same one? Because I saw hers live, and it was built. It had waterfalls and stuff running under it, and was built on
I'm
rocks.
positive. Go online and look up photos of the movie in Rivendell, and then go look at her build, and you tell me how accurate it is.
Okay, all right. I'm
In
just
comparison
saying.
to Minas Tirith, right? That had been done, and even there was even a guy that did the front of the Lonely Mountain, the entrance to the dwarfs' Lonely Mountain, which
Yeah, I
was
saw that one.
phenomenal. It was a
It was
phenomenal build.
big. It was
It was
big.
big.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen. I saw someone who did a big Helm's Deep set, and it kind of suffered the same problem. The detail wasn't quite there, and it was just sort of the most impressive part about it was that it was just a big build. It wasn't
Yeah,
that
that was
it was.
it. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like it's a big build, like that's cool. But I
Yeah,
mean,
it's huge. It
yeah,
takes up a whole table. Got it.
yeah,
You got
yeah.
a lot of bricks.
Yeah, I think we can, definitely critique somebody's work without, coming after them. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing. And I just remember that I did see her build in person for Rivendell, and I would have to go look at it again, like you said. But it is built differently than it did have some different features than it did in the movie for sure. I think she was also basing it mostly off the Hobbit movies because she had a lot of the scenes from the Hobbit going on in there, which I hate those movies anyway.
What?
But it's
I'm gonna have
the
to
Hobbit
cut you
movies.
off right there.
Can't watch the Hobbit movies. I'm a fan. They did the books dirty by like. We can do a Hobbit discussion at some point, but I'm not
Man,
going. I'm not.
I'm telling you right now,
Those
we're gonna have
movies.
problems.
Those movies are a real problem for
I
me.
have watched the Hobbit movies more than I have watched the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I can't.
Just 'cause
I can't sit through them, man.
I love the dwarves.
The
I love
dwarves
the
are cool. The dwarves are great, but then they should have made a movie about dwarves and not
I
destroyed
am
the
an
Hobbit.
unofficial son of Durin here. Okay.
I'm not going after any of the lore. I'm not going after any of the looks of the dwarves or anything in that movie, but I hate the movie. The movie was created badly in my opinion, and it didn't do the books justice on any level. And you can love dwarves and you can do all the Lord of the Rings lore. I'm all for that. But I draw the line at the Hobbit movies. The Lord of the Rings were pieces of art, and the Hobbit movies I can't look at. And you're just going to have to...
That's a huge disappointment. That hurts my heart, man.
Why? The Hobbit movies hurt my heart.
Dude, it's so funny too, because I'll tell Crystal, I'll be like, I'll reference something, and she'll be like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's from The Hobbit." She's like, "I don't remember that." I'm like, "Well, then you're gonna have to rewatch them." She's like, "Well, I'm just gonna fall asleep again."
I don't
Like,
fall
you need
asleep.
to,
I just get
jump in and
mad.
pay attention.
Yeah, so I assume you have all the extended ones, or did you watch all the extended edition Hobbits?
Oh yeah, and the Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Some of I've never seen the non-extended edition Lord of the Rings because I actually didn't see them in the theater. But I did watch all of the Hobbit ones, and I think I've seen most of the Hobbit extended, and I think they do add a little bit more with the extended ones. But yeah, I don't know. We can talk about Hobbit again. Jordan says the Hobbit wasn't about the book at all. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I don't want to hammer on the Hobbit anymore because that's not why we're here to talk about. But
Yeah.
if you grew up reading the Hobbit and then watched the movie, you're like, what is this? That's all. And I think because he had done Lord of the Rings so well, to the point where it was won like every award in Hollywood and was a piece of art, and then like watching The Hobbit, it just felt cheaper to me, and it didn't feel like there wasn't it lacked the love that was put into the Lord of the Rings. Though the visuals were there, it was something. There's something missing for me, man. But I mean, we can agree to disagree. No Tom Bombadil, end of story. Okay, now he's going after Lord of the Rings.
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's wild.
The Lego Den was asking about the secret projects.
Again? Is Lego Den on here? How are the secret projects going? Get out of here! We got all the secret projects. There's like a secret room behind Brick Monarch that goes into this like Frankenstein laboratory where he's cooking up all kinds of stuff back there.
Yeah, I've got a couple of these for my secret project for one of them. Which those go for $15 a piece on Bricklink, by the way.
Yeah, you got a stack of cash right there. That's what that is.
I do. That's dinner for my family, out with drinks. Sitting right there on that table in plastic pieces.
Yeah. Crystal gonna be like,
No.
Let's see how ignore the fact that it's based on the books. Yeah. I ignore the fact that it's based on the books. Yeah, I mean, you can yeah, a fantasy movie is a fantasy movie. I guess you could go that route, you know. He would have been a great character in the movie. I think so. Going back to Tom Bombadil, and I was going to ask that too. Sneak peeks. Yeah, somebody else wants the sneak peeks.
Yeah, I've got a couple of projects going on. I've got a whole bunch of these right here. I don't know if you guys all know what those are.
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
Rock Raiders.
I'm gonna get nasty with that, and my trans neon lenses. Been clearing everybody out on those.
Yeah, driving the price of it like you do.
Yeah, and then of course we're going north for the snowy trees. So there's another project there, plus the new spaceship project, and
which we're not talking about.
Which we're not talking about right now.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple of cool builds that are based off of an old set that I'm actually going to build a version of for every faction in that theme, which is pretty badass if you ask me. Jason has seen the prelim images and some of the finished images. I'll be uploading some of that stuff to my Patreon prior to, because there's a lot of design process and drawings and videos of builds and stuff like that that's coming in behind just the image itself. Because I don't think people realize when they go in to build something like that they want to show the world, they don't understand the time and the effort and the work and the back and forth that goes into creating something like that. You know? And I know you spend hours and hours doing your thing, and I mean, I do the same thing. So
yeah, and that's again a big thing, because like I lose a lot of time building a set or having the time to build just a fun set from the Lego company that I've purchased or something, because I spend a lot of my Lego time doing these other projects. And so yeah, it can be, and it's kind of similar, but you know, like just taking and relaxing and building something fun.
What is that? JMS Bricks is asking, what are your thoughts between the blacksmith shop and the new blacksmith? I'm assuming it was like the Ideas one. Is that the one? The 3739?
Is he talking about this one back here?
Yeah, isn't it that one right there in the back?
Yeah, let me grab it. I like both. I adhere more towards older school stuff, but I think this one might have been ahead of its time. And this was fan designed, and this might have been the first fan designed Lego set. And I don't really compare them because they are their own thing. They're not. This was the new Blacksmith was not a remake of this set, right? This was its own thing. But yeah, I think the set is ahead of its time. This was the only thing like it, and it came out in a time where Castle was kind of non-existent.
Yeah, it was.
It's
That
simple.
was like the first version of the medieval village, the medieval marketplace.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
conceptual idea of that was similar to that, where you got 2 floors, you got some minuscule decoration, some oddball things inside, and then what was it, like 5 to 10 years later, the medieval village came out, and it had
Yeah.
similar structure.
Just a little
um,
more detail. A little more
yeah,
detail.
I mean, that set was cool, but I mean, it's kind of old school, and I know you kind of lean a little more towards that, where
Yeah.
I like the new blacksmith shop is
Right.
what I think a medieval Lego set should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The scale's so big on the new one. If we built a castle to scale, I mean, the thing would be giant. And that's maybe what you would lean towards, something big like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have, I have been in the art industry for my entire life, right? Like, I first wanted to be an architect probably because I built Lego when I was a kid. So I've got a degree there, and then I've also got a degree in graphic art, just general graphic arts from an art college. And when I was a kid, when I was 10, that blacksmith shop was going to be the coolest thing ever, right? But now at 40, the new blacksmith shop is a little bit more my pace, because
Sure.
it's got more parts, it's more intricate, it's a little bit more,
Yeah.
it's well designed, it's well planned out, it's very creative, and that's really what I want to see from Lego moving
Sure.
forward. That's why I gravitated towards the Discovery. I was like, that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I have to have it. Like,
Interesting.
I didn't
Yeah.
care if it was $400. I wanted it because of the level of detail. So,
Got it.
you can lean back towards the classics, where it's like the simple, super crazy
Yeah.
build with 400 pieces, and I'm going to stick with my 3,000 piece sets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or you can kind of join them together, which is what I've kind of done with some of my builds. Some I go back to way simple, and some I added and updated techniques and bricks and built bigger. Like that Black Knight's castle I built was 2,500 pieces or more, right?
Yeah.
But it is in the simple style of like an old school castle with some updated, techniques and things like that, and some parts that obviously they didn't have back then. So kind of joining those two together is kind of where I like to sit, because I do think there's value in what you've done. I've seen your builds, and I've seen your builds that are built as a set, as opposed to like just a mock, when you could kind of go crazy and do all kinds of illegal moves and stuff. But I've seen stuff you've produced as like a set, and it's great. And I would love to see Castle moving in that direction too. So I think we're kind of both on the same page, though we come at it from a different direction. I totally get what you're saying there. Hey, classic style Castle coming after me with, we'll let you make your own multi-million making movie, and we can decide. You know what? You give me $300 million. That was each of the Hobbit budgets, and a team. I'll make you the coolest movie you've ever seen. I used to mess around with amateur film and stuff when I was younger, and I have buddies who do that stuff. If we had the money,
Don't let him
we'd
lie
make
to
the
you.
coolest
He gives you
movie.
$300 million. Anybody gives Jason $300 million, and we will never see Jason again.
No, until like 4 years later, my movie, maybe.
No,
Or,
you go buy an island. You disappear.
yeah, who needs that? No, I would totally do it. I actually have a movie in my. We have movies, like scripts written already for like a whole series of movies. Me and my friends. Like, you're talking to the wrong person here. Like, we have one that's called Lost in Valhalla. You would love this movie, Andrew. This is your movie. Like, I don't want to get too much into it, because I could literally spend 10 minutes telling you the storyline. But like, this movie is the one I would make with $300 million, the same budget movie for The Hobbit, or the same budget for The Hobbit. I would totally make this movie. Lost in Valhalla. Keep it. When you see that in a box office in 10 years, you'll be like, hey, that one guy on that random live stream on the Lego channel. Is that the one? Yes, that was us. Yeah. Gonna have to catch the rest another time. Hey, peace, Classic Style Castle. It was super good to have you on. Glad you stopped by. Have a good night. All right. Things are getting wild on here, man.
It happened.
Let's see. Yeah, the blacksmith, this one paved the way for the modern sets, like the guy, like you can see with the medieval village. Yeah, like you said, Medieval Village definitely took influence from that, as did
Yep,
the blacksmith.
100%.
Well, the blacksmith was even farther down the road. So totally, Jordan. Yeah, let's do it, Jason. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, don't mess with me and my movies. uh, let's see. JMS Bricks. I wish Lego would bring back their open lid boxes where you can get a sneak peek. Getting tired of all the blackout boxes across sets.
Yes.
I agree.
The
Absolutely.
open lid with the plastic window on the inside was everything
It
as
was
a child.
everything, man. It was it was Lego in the 90s. Like that is what you could think of when you think of that. Like I don't know, man.
That was why you begged your parents to just let's stop at Toys R Us.
Just
I just want to look. I just want to look.
open
And you
all of
open
them.
up every single one. You're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, did it.
Yeah, those are the good times. And talk about the greatest marketing of all time too. I mean, you give that just enough, you get to see the barding and the plastic and the little figures broken apart and the chromed sword and the dragon wing. You're like,
Yeah,
I need it all.
yeah, man.
I would love at some point to, bring those back on some level, whether that's us or Lego. That'd be so cool. Uh, let's see. My dad actually made a movie. Look it up. Sourdough on YouTube sometime. My grandpa is the lead character. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, there's so many people who make movies and stuff like that. I love it. I will definitely try and check that out. And actually write that down because I'll look at it. And then actually, let's jump into the questions we had on from the story I posted. We did
good.
the.
We've only got like 15 more minutes, and we've hit an hour.
I know. We've been all over the place tonight, but that's kind of what the point of this was, right? Yes, open lid would be awesome. I agree. Okay. Classic Brick Studios, who's not on here, but I believe that he's over in I think he's from Denmark, actually, over by where the stuff came from. What are your opinions on the prototype sets for Classic Castle and the canceled Europa theme? I believe is how you say that. Basically, a play on Europe.
Yeah, it's Europa.
Yeah, Europa. You want to take this one, and then I'll join in on that.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you, I've been a medieval fanatic, for ever since I can remember. Okay, like the whole story of, all the Louis in France, the Musketeers, even Napoleon, even the story of Napoleon.
Yeah.
And that whole thing had that whole Europa theme that was never released had a real big feel of that, which
Absolutely.
I think now, if that was released now, I think it would be a very popular theme.
Yeah. I mean,
because the originals were like the classic build versus, what's coming out now. Like if the creativity and the style of building was to reintroduce that now, it would be phenomenal. Where you have like the, I've always been really attracted to Louis XIV and Versailles and the whole, thing about that, where they honestly, they all look like Captain Hook. They were all dressed like Captain Hook, right?
Yeah.
They wore the pumps. All the guys wore the pumps and the leggings and the weird short things, and then the coats. So if they came out with a theme like that, I think it would be very popular, because it was also part of the timeline wise in history, it was part of the pirate. It was like the royal end of the pirate.
Is it? Yeah. Were the Musketeers at the end of the pirate era or the beginning of it?
I believe it was at the beginning.
Yeah, because they had the old flintlock type stuff.
Yeah.
And the rapiers and the duels and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that kind of opened up into the golden age of piracy during Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah, I believe so.
Elizabethan era, whatever you call that. So I'm not going to pretend to know too much about history, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Lego theme Europa was, like you were saying, Andrew, a theme that was a kind of a weird mix between some late.
It wasn't medieval. It was Renaissance.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like a late Renaissance into like sort of a Musketeer era, but they still had some sets that were displaying like some pirate British troops and things like that. Check them out on Google images, and then I think Eurobricks has like a little article with some of the unreleased sets images on there. They're really, really cool to scroll through. They have some really cool unreleased parts, some horse molds. And yeah, they cover like, I think I was talking to you earlier about it a little bit. They cover they're like the backbone of pirates. So like they give you the foundation for what was happening like at home while the pirates were out fighting the Imperial Guard. You had like the Europa theme, which was the fort and like the city and the tavern and the street. And it would have been so cool because it would have filled out everything. Like the trading post was like very similar to those sets, and that was like one of the only sets we got that was even close. Yeah, so I think it was a massive missed opportunity by Lego, and I would have loved to see that in that old style, and I would absolutely love to see it in a new rendition with nice detailed buildings, the tavern, the Queen's Pub, the Queen's Guard, right? The Cardinals troops with their halberds and their red and white crosses and all of that. That whole Musketeer era.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That would be cool.
You know, you could go for 20, 30 sets based on that stuff and create a whole new world that's in between late Renaissance and early pirates. That would be, so yeah, as far as our opinions on that, I think we both think that would be amazing to see at some point, and think that it was very, very missed opportunity by Lego to have canceled that idea.
Yeah, it would have been cool. It would have been cool then, but it'd be way cooler now.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know, man. See, because I fall back into that whole like classic feel, but like you're probably right. I think it would look amazing now, but I would have been more than happy to have those sets available at the time, or to have gone back and gotten them from that time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, because the images that I saw, I mean, they were pretty cool. But again, they just take me back to that classic age. They're not super new.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I get it. Let's see. La Bastille would have been a great castle.
It would have been.
Well, here's the thing, like the French Revolution Lego, like what would that be like? You got the guillotine.
Amazing. It would be amazing.
I mean, here's the thing, like now that they've gone all like, hey, look, we can do complicated Lego sets for adults. Like, why are they sticking to their for the adult sets? Why are they still sticking to their, you know, their whole, we don't do certain themes and stuff? Like you're literally said it was for adults. So let's see. I want French Revolution now.
I mean, two other ones, and we don't have to go into much detail, but two other ones that I think would be absolutely fantastic to see in a real detailed, large-scale theme sets would be the ancient Egyptians and the Romans.
Absolutely. And then I think we talked about the Aztecs and the conquistadors as well. But yeah,
I mean, yeah, that would be cool too. But I mean, I'm just a little bit more drawn to the other side of the world versus South America. Yeah. I mean, it would be cool, you know, like if you're talking about El Dorado and the City of Gold.
Yeah,
that would be insane.
Yeah,
like, I mean, I'm talking like historically accurate, like with actual, you know, tribesmen and temples and like real stuff.
Yeah,
not like, hey, here's the front half of this, and then in the back you can play with it. No, I mean like a real model.
Got it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a real model of the Parthenon, a real model like the Colosseum, but like for minifigs.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But like there's so many great builds in the ancient Greek and Roman history. And even in Egyptian history, there was great builds. The Sphinx could be an amazing set. We're talking like a 6,000 piece Sphinx.
Yeah.
I would buy it.
Would you want it to be like minifig scale still though, and like
Yeah,
bring in all the figures and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Mix it up because everybody likes the minifigs, right? Everybody's got to have the minifigs.
definitely.
But they would go so much better if they had big, giant model sets that they could go with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and they've done the minifigs in the little packs and stuff. So, I mean, having sets with more of those in it, and
Yeah,
then creating whole themes based around that, and yeah, there's definitely like a way you would have to do it to be, not obviously promoting certain, there was a violent time, right? So I think you could do it with like saying, hey, here's a conquistador ship and not included in the Aztec temple. Have an Aztec temple as its own thing you can build and have their own culture, and you could separate those two and not have to do like the
you
big
can
conflict.
mix it.
And then you can mix it.
You
Well,
can mix it up. I mean, let's
I
okay.
think you could, but I don't
Hang
think
on,
Lego.
hang on, hang on.
I don't think Lego
Released
could.
they released the Colosseum. Okay,
But
do you know what happened in the Colosseum?
Well, that's true. That's true. But they didn't release minifigs or lions or Christians getting eaten or people getting killed. Like you don't get any of that stuff in the set.
They included if you bought it at the right time,
You get the Roman
little
chariot.
chariot guy. Okay,
Yeah.
that little chariot guy was riding around that thing like whipping dudes. Like that was his job. And
Right.
he was included with the set.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think people can decide like for themselves if you want to create the set and people get mad and don't buy it. That's on them. But like,
I
if
mean,
people want it,
I've seen the inside build of that Colosseum, right? Where like you build like the little chambers underneath
Yeah.
the floor.
yeah, I
Okay.
remember seeing that.
Who
Yeah,
was in there? It was animals and slaves.
yeah,
All right. So
That is true.
There's no holding back at this point. We can
That's
build
true.
anything we want. They can sell anything they want. It doesn't matter. Let's just we need cool adult sets.
yeah, yeah,
And, I mean, we're talking minimum parts 2,000.
yeah. Just massive historical builds full of minifigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
The
would love to
architecture
see
sets
all
are
of that.
cool.
I think
The
it's
architecture
cool.
sets are cool, but they're not big enough for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean,
They're so small.
Jordan has a point, or not a point. Well, yeah, he says slavery would be a big issue, but I see where he's coming from, but I also kind of disagree, and this is the reason why. Because a lot of bad stuff happened throughout history, including those things, and yeah, the cultures were built on that. Every culture was built on that, and I'm not going to get political at all, but I will say, just because there were a lot of other things that happened during murders and all kinds of bad things. We're not depicting those in the sets. We're not providing those things in the sets. We're just providing the buildings and the cultures, and those are the things that you can create. Just like the Roman Colosseum or the Pirates Bay. You think those pirates weren't doing some shady stuff? Like, those are pirates. We don't uphold the morals of what pirates may have been doing just because we own a set based on. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I understand that, yeah, you could dance around that stuff, but at some point you got to realize, like, these are castles. Bad things happened in medieval Europe. Bad things happened to a lot of people during colonialism and all this stuff. But these are sets that are based on those times in history to, explore and stuff like that. They did the different things that we see in the world.
I think that with the architecture sets, they build these monuments, historical monuments, right? And a lot of those historical monuments were built on the blood of slaves, right?
Sure.
They're
yeah.
Right. So I'm not talking necessarily about showing violence. I'm just talking about historical pieces of architecture that could easily be translated into a Lego brick and to a Lego set. That would be a phenomenal thing to have sitting on your shelf.
Sure. Yeah. No.
That's
where and that's where I'm agreeing with you. Like, that is absolutely the case. They would be fantastic builds, really interesting. You could bring in historical pieces in in the instruction book, right? And talk about the different history things and how they were built or whatever you want to do. But like you said, yeah, we're not promoting or showing these types of things in these sets. They would just be like they did with all the other Lego sets we have, right? Like you said, with the architecture, with the Colosseum, with the blacksmith castle shop or the pirates. These are all just things kind of loosely based on a romanticized version of history that we can build and experience, Lego
Thank
Brick.
you.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good, George's like, okay, more Q&A time. Yeah. Thanks, Jordan. Way to go. No.
Thanks for letting us know what time it was. What else you got,
So
Jason?
yeah. So that's a good answer to the Europa question. Yeah, I think it would be cool to see more historical based Lego sets. I think a lot of people would like to see that, and a theme. Forget everything else. A theme just based in the Musketeer era would be awesome. I think that's for FER 2 or a 720. Have you guys considered teaming up and sending a super castle creation to Lego Ideas? That was one of the questions from the story. Well, sorry, I was reading a question. I read a question, I read another one when I looked up. We have teamed up already on certain projects, and we have decided to produce and do most of our own stuff instead of sending them over to Lego Corporate to take our ideas and use them that way. So yes, we have thought about doing large builds together, and at some point probably we'll have things coming out like that. But I think we'll probably try to make it as accessible to you guys as possible without producing our own Lego bricks. And we'll probably go that route. And then I have my own thoughts on Lego Ideas, but why don't you jump in and then I'll finish it up with those.
Yeah, I mean we've got two projects that I know of that we are going to be working together on that are going to be large scale, but they will not be submitted to Ideas. It's more of a building because we love to build and designing because we love to design, and then showing it to the population and making it a big part of the community.
Yeah.
Because when you submit something to Lego Idea, you're throwing a good idea. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, the only analogy I can come up with is too nasty for a live conversation.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, you're basically just throwing it away, right? Because you show your idea, and then, if it doesn't go through, somebody else might try it, and then somebody else might try it, and it's no good. It's no good. So we've decided that the projects that we're going to do together, and even some of the ones on the side that we're doing alone, we're just going to do the best that we can to make it to where it's accessible to everyone in the community right away. Yeah.
That's kind of exactly what I was going to say as well. And I guess, going back to Lego Ideas, I'm not going to bash on people who put their stuff on Lego Ideas. I see people do a lot of that, and it's not something that I personally like to see, because I do feel like they're giving things away, and it kind of bums me out, because I'm like, dude, these are your ideas, not Legos. And a lot of times, like you said, they either don't get voted up all the way, or if they do, there's 30, 40 of them, and Lego chooses one. And then what? Lego still owns the idea for a good 2 years after that, even if it's done. And so technically they say you can't even sell PDFs based on your ideas that you have on Lego Ideas. Now, I don't know if they actually go after people who do that. I doubt it, but it is very much written in their sub whatever license agreement that it's their stuff. You put it on this website, we own it. I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep my stuff. And then maybe at some point down the road, I do one that's specifically tailored towards Lego Ideas and I drop it on there.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to throwing. I've got a couple ideas that I want to put up there. I just it's not in the forefront of my priority to get them done.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great to see my mug in front of the instructions on 50,000 copies of a Lego set. That'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. And a fat check from Lego would be nice.
Yeah, like the Lego Den just asked, do they pay the creator for the set? Yeah, they give them like 5 or 10 copies of the set for free, and then you get a commission on every sale.
They commission you a percentage of every sale that is had. Now, I will say this: I have every Lego Ideas set that had been released. I buy every one.
Yeah. You like them?
I love them. I love them. They're great.
Lego Ideas are some people's favorite theme, because it's a little bit of everything. And if you can't go off and get everything, go for Lego Ideas, because you get a slice of kind of a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
So I get
great,
that.
great stuff. You know, I mean, we go from the blacksmith shop, Winnie the Pooh. Um, you know, the Treehouse set was
True. Yeah.
absolutely awesome. I love that set.
Was Stranger Things Lego ideas? Or was that their own thing?
I don't think that that was an idea set,
Okay. I couldn't remember.
but like the
Uh,
Steamboat Willie was an
yep.
idea set,
Yep.
which I love that one.
You know what's wild
But
is the
I'm a
first.
big Disney. I'm a big Disney fan, so
Maybe that's why you like the Hobbit movies. No, I'm just kidding.
ah,
They weren't Disney, but they felt
I
like
know
Disney.
where you live,
Kinda. Yeah, probably. Okay.
dude. No, I've mailed stuff to your house. I know where you
Oh
live.
yeah, dang it. No. Dang it. I gotta build a gate or something.
Yeah, you'll have to stop my axes, man. I'll come in Viking style on you.
Yeah, there it is. I knew that was coming. I knew it. Vintage car. Let's see. I saw something that actually touches back on the historical stuff, and I actually do want to say it's a very good point. If I can find it. 1 second here.
One.
That's what my son does. You know that? I'll be like, hey, 1 second, buddy, I'm coming. And he goes, okay, one. I'm like, okay, 1 minute. 1 minute, buddy. I'll be there. Yeah. Anyway, it basically said, yeah, it's like comparing police violence to the Lego police sets. It's not this. You don't compare them. And I get that.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. Same thing. And Jordan said, yeah, that's true. Which is totally true. I was trying to find the comment, but it got lost somewhere up there. But that's a very good point. People don't buy a Lego police set and be like, yeah, I'm going to be like a riot. And that's not how it goes. And so that would be the same for these historical sets. You buy the historical set. And
No, you buy the Lego police, right? And the Lego policeman goes to the donut shop.
Exactly, which they built next to it in the set.
Yeah, which they build next to it in the city.
So there you go with that one. I think we're moving on from there. We do have one, actually, a question from Jordan, and this is a great question. So AKA Brickster, go check him out. And he's got some fun castle stuff that he does on his Instagram. But he had a question. What is your favorite non-classic castle faction? And this also includes factions that showed up one time in the CMF factions, CMF minifigs. What do you think? Well, I know, I know what you like.
Yeah, my personal one, and I don't know if anybody cares about my opinion, but mine would be the Bears.
Yes.
The medieval Bears CMF minifig was great. I loved the club, the spiked club. I loved the shield.
Base, yeah.
The bear sigil was awesome. And I feel like at some point in my life, I will build a Bears castle.
Cool. I would love to see a Bears castle. That would be
because
absolutely
I
awesome.
Collected a lot of those.
You gotta have a bear pit where you drop them down and there's like two grizzlies underneath.
Yeah, man, like in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
Bear pits and riding bears through the woods.
Yeah,
I think it would be a very wooded castle.
Mm-hmm. For
sure.
sure.
Lots of brown and gray.
Lots of dark green.
Lots of dark green, red.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. I think it would be phenomenal. But that was definitely my favorite one out of all of them. I know a lot of people have gravitated towards the Raven.
The Raven's really, really clean looking. It's a very nice color, and it's just a very bright, classic-y
I know,
castle.
but every time I see it, I'm like seeing black and yellow in the back of my head, and it just gives me the wrong vibe.
Nice. You
know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a handful of them. I still like them, but I get what you're talking about. That's hilarious. The bears are good. Yeah, Jordan says, interesting color combos on the Bear Knights, too. Yes, that's what we're talking about, the dark greens and stuff. You don't see that as much. He's doing a giveaway of the new Falcons, too, tonight. That's finishing up. So go do his giveaway on his page, because I think he's giving away like one of the Falcons to like 3 different people from the blacksmith shop. So if you want to add another Falcon to your blacksmith, that's a way to do it. Just check him out. That's AK Brickster. The bright light yellow is hard to match with anything, though. on the Raven Knights. Yeah, I've seen some castles people have done, and they're pretty good. But like, yeah, they have to bring in another color to kind of match that a little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to think what my favorite one would be, like favorite faction outside of the classic castle factions, because I'm trying to think what they did later in any kind of castle stuff, and I don't think they did anything new. Aren't they all dragons and lions? Like anything after that? Oh wait, no, they had
dragons, lions.
Well, hang on, they had the dwarves. They had the dwarves.
Yeah,
that was its own faction.
Yeah, the dwarves were cool.
I liked the dwarves. I really liked.
There was actually a CMF evil dwarf.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, I just got his shield. I have him somewhere, but I got another one of his shields in one of those little $2 bags.
Yeah, I have that guy.
Yeah, I would say, Jordan said crownies. I forgot about the crownies. Gold Crown Knights, duh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so they did a couple different ones. The Crown Lions, the Trolls. I would say, besides almost every single one of the CMFs, because each one is so cool, because they have, like, the boar guy with the boar on his shield. They got the bear guy. Look at this. They even got this guy. I just saw it, the king. Look at that torso. That's awesome. Yeah. He's like a classic, like, king dude. I would love to see
that guy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And the queen that goes with him that came out in another series.
Exactly. Then I have her inside. But, like, dude, all of them, each one of those would make an amazing faction of 5 or 6 sets. So, but besides those ones, I would say the Trolls, man. I was obsessed when they came out because I was all into Lord of the Rings before Lord of the Rings was in a Lego set. And those Trolls, dude, with the Troll Warrior, big figs that you could clip together, and they had the clubs and, like, all the little goblins that came with them, and their wacky machines. I was like, these guys are as close as it's getting to Lord of the Rings, and I bought every single one of them.
And then Lord of the Rings came out.
Like, it was a while later.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good chunk later, but yeah. Yeah, the Trolls. Jordan says, yes, the Trolls. Yeah, Trolls, man. I would have to go with that. I really liked those guys. And Free Birdseed is the name of this account, and they said, what is your opinion on the various castle-related figures in the CMF series, which just bleeds right into that other question we just had, which I guess I kind of answered that. I was like, I think they're all really, really cool.
Yeah. Per our conversation earlier, though, the elf that was released in the CMF with the yellow hands and the yellow head with the ears, the whole 9, that would be a really, really great faction addition to the classic castle world. You know, 3 or 4 sets, 5 sets of elves.
Yep. You know? Just some nice, more detailed versions of
and you know, honestly the wild boar guy would be a lot better if it wasn't all black.
I agree.
And I don't like that helmet. That helmet came from, like, the Jelly Bean era.
Yeah.
That he's wearing in that. And I don't like that helmet. I never have liked that helmet. So that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth on that minifig specifically.
Yeah.
But the wild boar would be a cool faction.
Yeah.
Just not with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. The guy was a little weird. The little funky.
Yeah. The colors were off.
Helmet's not great. I agree with that. Helmet wasn't great. For sure. I have a handfuls of those helmets, but they're not really that usable. They don't they don't know what they are. That helmet is like, what is it? Is it because it's got the guards and the open face, but then it's not a Roman, it's not a Greek. It's like, what am I? It doesn't look that great.
It doesn't know what it is. It needs to be in the shit pile.
Just throw it away. No. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've still used it for things, but I use it for, like, the rabble. Like, you arm the rabble with it. Like, these are, like, crappy helmets they just put together in, like, their forges, and they're just putting them on, and they're just carrying pitchforks and spears with those nuts-looking helmets. I don't know.
Yeah, AK Brickster is saying he liked the Vladek and the Scorpion Knights.
He says that helmet slaps. You're wrong on this one. Yeah, I don't know. No. I don't know. Like,
okay.
There's better helmets.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. When I'm thinking about classic castle factions, right? the stag, an animal nearly, everywhere, right? Wild boar,
Yeah.
even. The elves would be a good idea. The wolf was a good idea. The lion has been a traditional symbol of royalty since the age of time, right?
Sure.
And then you throw in a desert animal
Sure.
that is like
Scorpion.
this big, and you're like, yeah, this is my sigil. Like, are you kidding me?
You're hating on that. Hating on the
Dude,
scorpion
the
guy.
scorpion is traditionally like a desert jungle animal, right? And then you throw it up into like a medieval Northern Europe style castle where they're like, yeah, we're sailors and our symbol is the scorpion.
Hmm.
Like
I see where you're coming
it
from.
doesn't work in my head.
I would have liked all of that better if, like you said, they had like some Egyptian vibes with like curved swords, maybe like I can't remember what that sword's called, but the curved sword and the helmet, maybe.
Yeah, but see, then it doesn't belong in the castle faction.
Well, that's true, I guess.
It belongs in the adventure faction.
It could be, or it could be in a like a fantasy, more of a fantasy era type thing, where it's like, because they have like in D&D they have different things based on cultures and stuff like that. So I could see that falling into like a more fantasy, castle-y type thing. But yeah, it was kind of a funny mix of. I was like, why is there a scorpion on the shield? I dig the dark red and the black as the bad guys. I think the colors were pretty good. Like,
yeah, the colors were good.
But here's the thing: the colors would have looked better if there had been a bear on the a boar, right? The dark red boar on those black and red knights, I think would have looked really cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And that was more of a.
I mean, if you think about think about Game of Thrones, I can't remember what they were the horse guys. Khal Drogo.
Yeah, Dothraki guys. Yeah,
the Dothraki guys. They were from the desert, right? But their symbol was a horse.
Right.
It wasn't a scorpion.
Sure. Fair enough.
I mean, sure, there's some big scorpions and they're dangerous and they can kill you, but most scorpions, like, you can step on them with your boot and kill it.
Sure. Well, and what's funny about the Jellybean Knight era was they were launching scorpions out of catapults. Like, it was a whole thing. Lego did this whole thing where they rode scorpions, like giant.
And I think that would have been something that the Scorpion King would have done in Egypt.
Right. Exactly. So I think maybe they just misplaced where they were doing their thing. I guess maybe, I don't know. Honestly, those sets they're hard to look at. The Jellybean Knights, they're rough. So I don't really venture into that territory too much.
Yeah.
But
let's see. One other one that I've got that's of note would be the new Viking CMF.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. That guy's so good.
I gotta say, the original Viking theme that came out was garbage.
Yeah, I liked it.
I mean, that's where you're in that category, and I'm in this category over here. That's okay, Jason.
Yeah. That's fine.
But if you compare that new minifig, right, to the old Viking theme, it's like night and day. So where is Kattegat, for one, the set that goes with that Viking, right? Where's the monastery in northern Northumbria, right, that's getting sacked by the Vikings? Where's that set at? Where's the actual Viking ship that is wood that has the shape of a serpent on the front of it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
instead
of like a dragon. Like, they went a little too dragon, and using mechanical parts and built animals is something that I frown upon.
I agree, and I am with you on that. Their animal thing they did there was a bummer, and they could have definitely. I see the potential in a Viking theme to be so much better than what they did. I was just excited at the time because of the dry spells in Castle and all of that, and then with all the fantasy Jellybean Knights and all of those things, I actually finally got something that looked kind of cool to me, and so I bought up a bunch of it with the cool shields and the printed stuff, and I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, I agree. The sets weren't that well built, and they definitely, the animals were kind of bad. The dragons and stuff, like you said, really heavy on mechanical. They don't look like dragons. They look like like something out of Transformers.
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying there. Jordan's still in here. What is he saying here? Yeah, possibly the first time Dark Red showed up in those Vladek sets. It's possible. Yeah, it might be. I don't remember. I would have to look that up. And he said he does hate the sets. He just likes the figures. I guess that's fair. You can like the figures.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
We won't judge you too hard. Viking theme had some awesome torsos and figs. Yeah, I think the Vikings came with. I mean, at least now after that came out, you could build Vikings, which you were kind of difficult to build in Lego because you could swap out the beards, the heads, even if you got those crimped horns from the cows and pop those into the helmets, it makes the helmets look better. So I think they had at least some parts that they populated in to the Lego parts that
historically the Vikings didn't wear horns on their helmets.
Well, I mean, then you could just take them off.
Is
there a Lego helmet that would work for a Viking? Except just the one
that's on the new minifig.
Okay, that's probably the only one.
But honestly, most Vikings didn't even wear helmets.
Okay.
Well, if they were wearing anything, it was like the skin of an animal,
right?
And the animal's head would sit on their head.
Dude, those would be some cool pieces, huh?
Those would be some rad pieces.
Yeah, I think a Viking theme today would blow people's minds.
If it was done right, yes.
If it was done right. Yeah, a remake of what they did before probably wouldn't be that good, but a Viking theme done correctly today, man. Yeah, your fiance just said they didn't wear helmets. Well, dang, you guys being all historically accurate. This is
well. I mean, the thing, the honest truth is that the Viking men were just as particular about how their hair was and what they were styled like as the women, right?
Interesting.
So, like, the haircuts were very important. How it was braided was very important. How many braids, how long it was very important.
I assume, like, what they had in it, whether it was
what they had in it, the beads that they had in it. I mean, these were all very important things. So they like to show that off.
Interesting. Very tribal.
It was part of it was very much part of their character, and it was very tribal.
Interesting. Yeah. That's really cool. Huh. Yeah. I don't like the Viking helmets, says Jordan. Mongolian minifigure with the curved horns is way better. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. That one's another cool minifig. He's got the fur like collar and the little curved horns things. I don't know if that's accurate either. Who knows? I feel like not that many people actually ended up wearing horns in their helmets. I think that's just like a Hollywood thing.
It is.
I still think it's cool though. And maybe those Vikings were fantasy Vikings, so they can do whatever.
You would like those, Jason. Maybe you can put that in your movie.
I mean, I actually 100% would.
I know you would.
Oh, man. Yeah, all my Vikings, every single one is going to have those giant horns. No, I'll have you come on as a, what do you call it? Not a counselor, but a advisor for the costumes. Make sure we're doing it correctly.
Yeah, we'd have to do something.
Kirk Douglas's hawk mask was dope. He was in that movie Vikings, right? That old movie. Did you ever see that one?
I don't know.
It's like old. Like I'm trying to think time era wise, like another movie around that time. I don't know, like Errol, probably a little. It's later than Errol Flynn Robin Hood, but it's old. They do a whole thing. It's just called Vikings. But yeah, they have like the whole fort built for the set piece and like the ships and everything because they didn't have.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I watched about half of it. I thought it was pretty cool. Costume consultant. That's what I was gonna say. We'll have the Brick Monarch come on as costume consultant for this massive $1 million movie we're gonna be putting together here.
I could do that.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I think that's it for the 8. Oh, your fiance's on it. 1958 was when that Vikings movie came out, so that is a very old movie. I think that unless what was that?
I was like right after Color happened to TV.
Yeah, I think it might be like it could be Technicolor. I don't know. It felt like it might have been, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went for an hour and 20 minutes. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Because I thought maybe if anyone has anything else they want to ask us, we'll give you a couple minutes to pop on here and drop
Yeah.
a question.
Couple minutes. I still got to eat dinner, and it's like
Okay.
pushing 8:30 here.
Oh, that's true, man. Well, maybe I'll let you go and eat your dinner. And
Yeah, you're over there on the West Coast. The sun's still out. And, you know, I mean, I'm hearing
Dude,
the
it's all-
crickets outside here.
it's all shiny and happy over here, man. We're still just chilling. Oh, we got actually. Okay, there is a question here. One more, and then we'll call it. Okay. He said, "Did you see my question before?" And I did, and I just wasn't able to get to it. But it is up here, if I can get to it without losing it. So just give me 1 second here. Here it is. Benny's Lego. Now that we have the Blacksmith Ideas set, and we are getting a 3-in-1 castle, what does that mean for the theme? Will we get a whole new line of Black Knights that will get the other 2 sets? So
I don't know.
yeah, we obviously can't say for sure. Unfortunately for Castle, those sets fall into 2 themes that are not Castle. And that's technically. And so that's the only concern I have with them not making more. At least in those types of old factions and things like that. It's because that is a creator set and an idea set. So they're not tagged or linked into their own castle theme. Which obviously if they were, then we'd already have castle. But that being said, that they did get a lot of good response. At least the Blacksmith did, and I think the castle will too. Pirate 3-in-1 the 3-in-1 ship sold really well, as did Pirates Bay. So we have made it clear that these types of sets sell well and that we're interested in more. And that's the best we can do right now, I think.
Yeah, for sure, man. A.K. Brickster, I think, was asking what we're going to talk about next time.
Oh, yeah.
Here is my opinion on this live. I would like to talk about the Wolf Pack and the Dark Forcemen together because I feel like they're related in lore.
Okay.
Or we can talk about Dragon Masters.
I think we should. I like what you said. Let's do that because I think Wolfpack feels like kind of next in line because of everything we've talked about up until that point. And we've kind of jumped around the Dragon Masters a little bit, but we've really brought up Wolfpack multiple times. So let's really cover them and then talk about the Dark Forest because there's only, 3 sets in each theme?
Yeah, there's 3 sets in each theme, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. Plus, I feel like they're related. They're buddies.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. So let's do that. So next live stream we'll talk about Wolfpack and Dark Forest, even though they're not technically from the same time era in the timeline release of these sets. We think that there's something that is connected there, and I think that's correct. And it'll be fun to dig into more.
Whoa. AK Brickster said the Dragon Masters kind of suck. Let's be honest.
Whoa, why's he got to do this, man?
Dude, you're this close. You're this close to me open up cancel culture on you right now.
He's been like poking the bee's nest the whole night. This is
I know.
This is
I don't
funny,
know what
dude.
is.
There
I
aren't
love
sets
his
of
show
either.
in the Classic Dragons. Look, I got his shop right here. How could you not like this set right here? This is phenomenal. Okay? This was like so great when this came out.
Dragon Masters rock. Black Knights they were Black Knight wannabes. Now here's the thing, and this is where this is the second time you're gonna disagree with me tonight, Jordan. Because listen to this. Dragon Masters came in and whooped Black Knights' butts. They rolled in with dragons and fire and Magisto and just totaled the Black Knights.
Yeah, and they were never seen again.
Gone.
Then
Toasted
there was a new challenge. Then there was a new challenge. The Royal Knights came in and tried to fight the Dragon Masters.
Yeah.
So you don't know nothing about the storyline, the history of the Dragon Masters, or anything. You're just hating on them because you don't have them.
Oh, I think Jordan knows. I think Jordan knows. He's a big castle guy. He's one of the coordinators of the BrickCon castle. So I've sat down and talked with him a little bit. He knows what he's talking about. He's just poking us, man. He says we're delusional. Hey, dude. I mean, let's be real. Maybe they would have stood a chance, but the Black Knights or the Royal Knights came in, went after the Dragon Masters, and I bet you the Fright Knights came in and went after the Dragon Masters as well, and that's the reason why the Royal Knights probably even stood a chance, because it was like a three-way battle. Maybe. Who knows? But then I feel like the Dragon Masters beat both of them anyway. At the end there.
They did, man.
Because everyone's dead after that. Like, nothing happened for like a good year, and then it was all rebooted as something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jelly beans.
Well, they had one chunk of sets that were those King Leo and the Bull Knights, which weren't quite as bad as the Jelly Bean, and then it went into Jelly Bean a couple years later. But yeah.
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 Yeah, the King Leo stuff and the Bulls was garbage.
Yeah, I hated it when it came out. I like the Bull Signia. I think that's a cool shield, but like, I wasn't a huge fan of it when it came out. I've gone back and like collected things I didn't like as a kid now because I'm like, oh, that was actually cool. I don't know what I was thinking. But I definitely remember jumping from Royal Knights and all that into Knights Kingdom with King Leo and thinking like, what happened? Like, what happened to my Lego? Is Jordan still going on about it? Royal Knights and Fright Knights suck more than Dragon Masters. Whoa! Get out of here. Bull Knights also suck. Okay. I think we're done. Let's see. He says the Dragon Masters didn't even have enough creativity to come up with their own Signia. Well,
they did. It was a different dragon. It was a green dragon.
It was the green dragon.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
It was the official green dragon. That if you go to any Legoland on the globe, you ride the green dragon.
True. It is true. Maybe the Black Knights... No, never mind. I was going to say maybe they stole it from the Dragon Masters, but time-wise doesn't work out.
Like I said, I mean, you get into that lore, man. You're talking about Arthur Pendragon, right? Throwing a dragon on his thing to compete against the lion, the majestic lion of the royals. And then you got this wizard hanging out in the woods over here and in the mountains that has real dragons. And he's coming in eating everybody alive. He's riding them.
Yeah. He says Jordan says terrible heads on the brick. The Bull Knights. Yeah, I didn't like most of what happened with that series at all. But he said now you're grasping. Yeah. All right, they had real dragons. Yeah, for 720 says they had real dragons. Yes, they did. And maybe that's why you can kind of look at them and say, well, they had dragons, so what do you expect? I mean, maybe their dudes weren't that good, but the dragons came in and trashed everybody. Put me on a video sometime. I want to fight you guys.
Yeah, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can invite him into a live stream and just argue about dragons for an hour.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. I'm down. Maybe when we do our Dragon Master discussion, have him come on and we just like fight about dragons the whole time.
Yeah.
People don't care.
Yeah, Jordan, why don't you join us for the Dragon Masters discussion?
That'd be really fun. And you can do that now on Instagram. They did a 4-way like rooms and stuff you can do now. So, I mean, if you want, I'd be down. We can talk about it more, but that'd be funny.
That would be funny.
Bull Knights stole those dragons from the Fright Knights. Ruins. I don't know.
Well, is that about it then for the night?
Yeah, I think we're done. Q&A, that was super fun. We had some great questions submitted, and we had some really great questions in the comments. We got all over the board tonight. That was crazy, and that was super fun. Talked about some hot button issues.
The dragon.
And came down with the dragons. Yeah, that was nuts. So he's giving us boxing glove emojis now. All right, man. Thank you all so much for sticking around. It was a really fun time. Next live stream, we'll be talking about the Wolf Pack and the Dark Forest to continue our classic castle discussion. Brack just joined. You guys are joining it. Now we got people joining in. We're about to leave. So tonight we're ending up. Andrew's got to get some food. He's got to get going. It's getting late over there. But we appreciate everyone who came in and participated tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Brick Monarch Shop. I've got a lot of new products coming out soon. So the only way that you're going to get any kind of information on those ahead of release is being on our email. So if you want to know what we're getting ready to release on the Brick Monarch Shop, go over and join the email. Subscribe to the email so you get the emails, once a month.
Yeah. Check him out. He's Brick Monarch Shop. I have a video on some of the products he's got. I mean, you can see some of them back there a little bit. And he's got so much more stuff on that shop. And then, as always, I have a couple PDFs for some of the builds that I've done, and you can get the link to my shop in my Instagram. So we appreciate you guys stopping by, checking it out. And Brick Monarch's always dropping new cool stuff on his store, so definitely check his stuff out. Nice. You got the nice zoom. What's going on over here? That's cool.
Is it giving you vertigo a little bit?
A little bit. I was like, what is happening here?
Well, I roll my table out because I can get way back over here.
Oh, that's awesome. That was cool. That was a cool effect. You should do that at the end of every live. Just slowly push the table out. So it's like this cool final zoom out as we leave for the night. I like it. Brick.
All right. Cool, man. Everybody have a good night. Happy building.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in. You guys have a great one. Talk to you later, man.
See you, buddy.